First of all, I'm not sure that I successfully do balance this, and I think this is one of those things where from the outside it often looks like you're really productive, like you're really kind of doing lots of things, that you're balancing everything. Yet on the inside you're just going fuck. And this is the same thing as like, because I mean, as I said, my sister's in the arts as well, and you know she has 3 children and appears enormously productive, but is constantly going, I really wish I hadn't taken this job on. What was I thinking? So I think everyone who's kind of appears to be enormously productive or appears to balance things is both probably feels like they're achieving way less than they feel like they should. Which is, and again, this is perceptual. I mean, like you feel like you should be achieving more, and I think the art world, not just the art world, the immaterial labour economy is insatiable. You know, there is always more. You know, more social profile you can manufacture. There is always more essays you can write. There is always more output that you can do. There's always more shows, more. You know, there's kind of this thing. It's like. I think part of it's actually kind of going, okay, no, it's enough. It's enough to do 1 show a year, or it's enough to do this, or it's enough to actually, because it can be really sort of, it can be really, you just can't win. There is always more. There's always a perception you can be doing more. And when it was actually interesting when I was doing my PhD, I kind of made this really firm decision that I would actually not work in the weekends, and I would not work kind of in the evenings, and so I was doing this kind of thing which is profoundly isolating. Let's just say about that, you know, doing a PhD more than anything else you probably do in your life, because it's this project you do entirely by yourself. The only person who's kind of holding your hand through it is your supervisor, and if your supervisor sucks, you're totally screwed. Fortunately mine didn't, but I actually changed up to a different one so I could get one that didn't suck. And you know, it's not uncommon to kind of fall out with this person because you're spending like 3-4 years in this really intense kind of insecure process. And as I said, it's completely by yourself because you're supposed to be. Whereas when you then go out and work, you know, like when I was working at St Paul Street Gallery, or when I'm, you know, going to conferences and things, or when you're kind of working as, you know, as a lecturer. You have a community of people around you who are actually kind of wanting to talk, you know, who are doing, you know, who are often kind of helping you realise these things. So research outside of your PhD doesn't actually normally happen in complete isolation. So, but that was an aside. So to actually kind of say, no, I'm actually going to have time where I don't work, I think is very important, because it can be really insidious. You can find yourself working all the time, and you can find yourself feeling like you can't go and do this, or you can't go and do that, or you feel really guilty for watching like a kind of really watching a film or something like that, or a film that isn't intellectual and stimulating and going to kind of give you ideas. It's like your brain gets overstimulated and you kind of like collapse in a ball and can't do anything and refuse to get out of bed. But So I think that for me is really important, actually kind of defining time where it's okay to not have anything to do with art or not have anything to do with work. And that's separate from like paid employment as well. You've actually got to have time where you're not working on paid employment, you're not working on your art, and you're kind of just living without working. Which doesn't mean you're not doing stuff you're passionate about. I have this kind of weird process. I kind of make these lists and I realise that I have committed to too many projects, and I think that is the other thing is actually managing how many projects you commit to, how many major projects you commit to at any one time, because otherwise, if you're overcommitted, then you can't actually give time to anything because you're constantly feeling like you're abandoning other things. So I think on my board I have about 7 things that I'm supposed to be doing at the moment, and that's just too many. And part of it is like some of them are things which I'm trying to get funding to do in the future, some of them are things which I am trying to finish, and it's like everything will just take lots more time because you're constantly sort of going, but I'm not doing that thing, I'm not doing that thing. And that is actually part of the reason I've taken like a sabbatical from working, from paid employment, which I'm really fortunate to be able to do, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that again, so hopefully there's a job later. Because it was either give up all these projects or give up working, and giving up working seems so much nicer. which is another thing, which is, I try really hard not to do this, but I just did it, is to not imply that when you're doing your art or your theory or your curatorial practice, the stuff that you're not paid for, that you're not working. Because often people will say to you, are you going to work today? You know, what days this week are you working? And it's like, well, every day. I'm working every day. I'm going to paid employment at the office on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm working from home on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of thing. And it's really insidious. You know, to people, you start then thinking of it as not work. It's not as important as your paid job, which means that then it's okay to, you know, not do it, or it's of lesser value because you're not being, you know, fiscally compensated for it. But as I said before, the world fiscally compensates you for the wrong things.